All right, y'all. Apparently, Coca-Cola sales slid 4% during the first quarter, and they're blaming a boycott from the left, claiming Coke is calling immigration customs enforcement on illegal immigrants. Does that mean Coke has hired illegals and they're now turning them in? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me, but apparently Coke is pulling back on their DEI initiatives, maybe because they realize that it's blatantly illegal and you can't discriminate against anyone based on race or sex or age, discriminate or orientation or whatever, including white people, which is 70% of the population, but whatever, that's for another discussion. According to Yahoo News, Coca Cola blames their slump on sales on a boycott driven by the Latinx community, which is hilarious because such a tiny percentage of Hispanics associate with this progressive buzzword, Latinx, in any way, shape, or form. So let me give a little context to this before I get into the Yahoo article. So, Latinx, this is on Google. So, since Google is traditionally more progressive than anything, I figured I would get the definition from them since they would know best. So, Latinx is a gender neutral term used to refer to people of Latin American descent, offering an alternative to the gender terms Latino and Latina. It's primarily used in English speaking contexts, particularly within academic and LGBTQ plus circles, as a way to promote inclusivity and challenge traditional gender binaries. However, the term is not widely used or embraced within the broader Hispanic Latino community, with many preferring the terms Latino, Latina, or Hispanic, according to Pew Research Center. So Latinx is attempting to get rid of the O's and the A's used in the Spanish language. Of course, the O's referring to males and the A's referring to females in the Spanish language abroad. So that's basically what they're trying to get rid of by doing this whole Latinx or Latinx or whatever you want to say it. And they want to get rid of all the words that end in A and O, and they want to replace it with just the letter X. It's absolutely brain dead. It's ridiculous. It's retarded. It makes no sense whatsoever. And I mean, it just goes into the whole gendered thing. They want everybody to follow these 72 or 150 or 10,000 different genders that exist out in society, and they expect us to know every single one and how to pronounce every single one and use they them pronouns to certain people or zer to those people. And it's all designed just to basically keep your eye off the ball, keep you distracted. It's a big smoke and mirrors game, and they don't want you focused on the bigger picture as to what's going on in the world abroad, mainly with our economy and what our government's up to and all that. They want us focused on changing the words that we say and changing the language and how we perceive one another, and how women are men now, and now women or men can be women now, and men can menstruate, and men can have periods, and men can have children now. And it's all just brain dead lunacy. I mean, that's all it's really designed to do, is just to keep us dumbing ourselves down further and further. And ironically, the people who follow this stuff the most, they're following all of this from academia, from universities, digging themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and they're walking away with an education that they greatly can't use anywhere, and they filled their minds up with this nonsense, and that's kind of the situation we find ourselves in. But anyway, so that's the basic key points when it comes to Latinx. It's gender neutral. It originated from online LGBTQ and academic communities, and the pronunciation, while the X is pronounced like the letter X in English, the term can be awkward to pronounce in Spanish, where words don't naturally end in X, which is why this is stupid. It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. But it's primarily used in English language academic and progressive spaces, with limited adoption within the broader Hispanic Latino community. I have a feeling that whoever came up with this idiotic idea probably wasn't Hispanic. There were probably some rich white progressive liberal with just some rich ass parents born with a silver spoon up their ass, and they've got nothing else better to do with their time. They're just pissed off the world. They're nihilists. They don't believe in God because they've never had a need for God, because they've always been rich and they've always been able to do whatever the hell they want. So now they just make up bullshit that doesn't even exist. So anyway, let me go ahead and hop over here. So this is the percentage of Hispanics that actually identifies Latinx or follow Latinx or what have you. According to a 2024 Pew Research Center survey, only 4% of American Latinos use the term Latinx to describe themselves, with awareness of the term at 47%, which, yeah, so not quite half, but a lot of Latinos, they understand that this term exists. And obviously, 96% of them find it to be absolutely ridiculous. So, a 2021 Gallup poll found that 4% preferred Latinx, while 5% leaned toward it when pressed. So, only 1% out of 100 just leaned into it when they were pressed into it. But the other 95% said, hell no, that's stupid as all hell. So, no. So, additionally, a 2021 Ben Dixon and Amandi International poll reported that 2% of Hispanic voters identified as Latinx, with 40% finding the term offensive or bothersome to some degree. These findings suggest low support for Latinx, while preference for terms like Hispanic, 68% in the Ben Dixon poll, or Latino, 21%, being significantly higher. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this Yahoo article here. This is from Yahoo News. And again, we're talking Coca-Cola. It reels as viral video takes a chunk out of sales. We are very focused on recovering from it. So this was published Friday. So as of this recording, it was published technically the day before yesterday. It's early Sunday morning right now. So anyway, Coca-Cola is feeling the pressure as consumer-led boycotts have resulted in a decrease in sales over the last year. What is happening? Coca-Cola sales have decreased by 4% in the first quarter of 2025, according to The Street. Coca-Cola CEO James Quincy attributed recent losses to weakening consumer sentiment, particularly with the Latinx community. Remember, 4%, not of the population, not 4% of the American population, no, just 4% of the Latin American population. 4%. And apparently the CEO believes that that teeny tiny minority is the reason why they've lost an overall 4% in sales. Probably has nothing to do with the fact that Coke is basically doubled in cost since 2020, but I'll just digress on that. So the company was put on the boycott list created by the Latino Freeze movement, which is protesting recent rollbacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, as well as attacks on immigrant communities. The beverage giant partially blames the weakened support among the Latinx community on a viral video from February. The video, which Coca-Cola labeled as false, explained that Coca-Cola allegedly laid off several thousand Latinx workers before reporting them to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So, several thousand Latinx workers apparently worked for Coca-Cola at some point, which again, between 2 and 4% of the Latino population. Apparently, several thousand of them were working for Coke, even though I did read somewhere else that apparently they were illegal immigrants who were working for Coke. So, I don't know. Are they Latinx? Or are they illegals? Or are they the same thing? I don't think they're the same thing. From what I understand, it sounds like the majority of people who identify as Latinx are in the LGBTQ community. But okay. So anyway, Coca-Cola has also been the target of boycotts from environmental nonprofit Greenpeace, according to AS. The company has consistently been named as one of the biggest plastic polluters in the world and accused of misleading consumers about the recyclability of its bottles. I mean, that's not really pertaining to the topic at hand, but let's see. Consumer boycotts can pressure companies to cut ties with dirty energy producers and change their policies to reduce pollution. Let's see here. What's done about boycotting? Yada, yada. I think that's basically it when it comes to the whole Latinx thing. So, yeah, again, this is on Yahoo News. So over here on X, let me see if I can pull this up. Where are my bookmarks? Let me see if I can find these. Maybe they're under other. No. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right. So Coca-Cola called the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on their Hispanic workers while they were on the job. The Latino community is furious and have begun boycotting in massive numbers. This is the correct response. I stand with the Latino community in pushing any company who shows you that profits matter more than people. Make sure to research whatever you're buying in order to effectively boycott, as Coca-Cola owns a lot of brands. Also, go ahead and dump Starbucks, McDonald's, and anything made in Israel while you're at it. So they only got 540 likes. Matter of fact, pretty much all of these did. They got almost no attention, but I'm just showing what's going on, at least over on social media, how people are spreading nonsense, essentially. And I'll show you here in a minute why it's nonsense. So boycott Coca-Cola. This one makes me sad because I loved Coke Zero, but I'd rather not give my money to a company that not only terminated but alerted ICE about immigrant employees, which there is no evidence to show that. I mean, they're spreading around that information, but they have no links. Where's the article? Where's the links? Where's the proof? Where are the interviews from these immigrants that were fired from Coke? Where are they? because I'm sure the mainstream news would love to talk to them. And according to earlier, there's thousands of them who were laid off. Not one or two, there's thousands of them. So where are they? Why aren't they talking to the media? Why aren't they making their own videos and talking about how they worked for Coca-Cola for the last 2 years or 20 years or whatever, and they were wrongfully terminated because they were just a poor Hispanic immigrant? I don't know. I'm not seeing any. Attention, all immigrants, stop drinking Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola supports Trump's massive deportations. Coca-Cola turned over its employees to ICE. Again, no proof whatsoever. I already clicked on this. It's just simply a dump truck just dumping out Coke. I mean, I guess I can click on it again, but I already looked at it before I started recording this video, and it was literally nothing. It's just a dump truck just dumping Coke out in the middle of nowhere. So, and I don't read Spanish, so I'm not sure what every single word down here means, but I don't know. I think what they're just saying basically is just a boycott Coke. I mean, obviously that doesn't directly have anything to do with immigrants getting fired from Coca-Cola. So anyway, what's crazy is that calling ICE on immigrants is actually among the lesser crimes Coca-Cola has committed in their history. And then they link to another, looks like another X post somewhere. Bring back some more Mexican Coca-Cola, which full stop, Mexican Coke is the bee's knees. It is so good. They use cane sugar. They don't use crappy corn syrup. That's what Coca-Cola feeds all of us here in the U.S. They feed us corn syrup-filled Coca-Cola. That's what we drink here in the U.S. But if you get those glass bottles of Coca-Cola, and I know you know what I'm talking about in the grocery store, they are a little bit more expensive, even though I'm sure cane sugar more or less probably doesn't really cost hardly anything more than corn syrup, but what do I know? Anyway, they taste a lot better. It's actually refreshing. And, you know, I've never been a huge fan of the Coca-Cola company. Although if I were to have to choose a type of carbonated beverage to stick around and all the other ones eviscerate from the earth forever, I may have to kind of lean toward Coca-Cola, but only if it's cane sugar and not corn syrup. If it's corn syrup, no, to hell with it. But anyway, bring back some more Mexican Coca-Cola. Apparently, our Coke isn't doing well because of the recent deportations, and we need to economically stimulate them with the cold shoulder. Do better, Coke. #social justice. And that's basically all I got. Like these down here, that's referenced in a video I did earlier today with Air India. So, yeah. And Coca-Cola actually responded. And they responded by denying allegations that it called U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on its employees, calling the accusations false. A spokesperson for the company stated, end quote, the accusation that the Coca-Cola company called immigration authorities to assist in the separation of undocumented workers is unequivocally false, end quote. The company has also issued a statement addressing recent false accusations, emphasizing that these claims are completely fabricated and have been independently verified by reputable fact-checking organizations such as Reuters and Snopes. Despite the rumors, there is no credible evidence that Coca-Cola reported its migrant employees to ICE or apologized for doing so. The company remains committed to its employees and the communities it serves. But yeah, I mean, Coca-Cola, it's a woke company. It's been a woke company for a long time. I mean, just the way that they frame their denial of the accusations. I mean, that they called immigration authorities to assist in the separation of undocumented workers. I mean, the separation of undocumented. Okay, whatever, Coke. But anyway, that's going on in the news. I thought that was interesting and hilarious. How Coke is worried that the Latinx community of all people are the ones that are driving this big slump in sales, the 4% drop that Coca-Cola is experiencing. Because I just think that's just ridiculous and very misguided on Coca-Cola's part. They're obviously not in touch with their consumer base. If they're experiencing a slide in sales, it's because of the prices. It's because it's a lot more expensive than it has been in recent years. It just keeps going up. And in many cases, the sizes, I don't know about Coca-Cola specifically, but a lot of other consumer brands, they're shrinking the size of their packaging while they're still charging the same price, if not more. I mean, that's become pretty obvious, at least to me, in the whole coffee area, where coffee used to be 16 ounces to the bag for the longest time, years and years, probably since the day I was born. They were 16 ounces in a bag, but now they're 12, and some are even 11 and a half, and I think I saw 11 ounces for another one. But yet the prices just keep going up. Shrinkflation and inflation put together. So Anyway, that's all I got as far as Coke goes. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.